All right, guys, here we go. The Lost City, Tom Moldvay, Session 1, 1981, D&D. I got my basic rule book pulled out. I got my adventure module pulled out. Just like in the old days, I got my party that's ready to go. We got my fighter, Dorian, Finian the Thief, Galen the Wizard, and Alaric, Fletcher the Cleric. Level 1, little guys, but they're ready to set out. And so let's just go. There's not going to be a lot of presentation. I'm just going to play D&D solo, and you can be here with me. I'm not going to put too many fancy things in. We're just going to do some D&D, so let's get going. Basically, the story is these guys, the boys, connected themselves to a caravan. They were setting out to become adventurers. They got their training. They got their equipment. It's day one. They attached to a caravan that's going out into the desert to try to find some high adventure. And then this happened. Days ago, your group of adventurers joined a desert caravan. Halfway across the desert, a terrible sandstorm struck, separating your party from the rest of the caravan. When the storm died down, you found you were alone. The caravan was nowhere in sight. The desert was unrecognizable as the dunes had been blown into new patterns. You were lost. You headed east, the same way the caravan was headed before the storm. Days passed. Your mounts died, and you soon drank the last of your water. The end of the desert was not in sight. The second day after your water ran out, you stumbled upon a number of stone blocks sticking out of a sand dune. Investigations showed that the sand dune covered the remains of a tall stone wall, and on the other side of that stone wall, a ruined city. The stone blocks of the city had toppled and cracked with the passing of time. Sand had covered most of the buildings. The stones that remained uncovered had been scoured smooth by the blowing sands. In the center of the city towered a step pyramid. It had 5 step-like tiers, each 20 foot high. The bottom tier was almost completely covered with sand. On the top of the highest tier were 3 30-foot tall statues. The statue on the left was of a strong bearded man holding a balance in one hand and a lightning bolt in the other. The middle statue was a winged child with 2 snakes twined about its body. The child held a wand in one hand and a handful of coins in the other. The statue on the right was of a beautiful woman. In her hand she held a sheaf of wheat and a sword. On the south side of the pyramid, a ramp with stairs led from the ground to the top of the highest tier. A quick search of the ruins revealed no source of food or water, so you decided to climb all the way to the top of the pyramid. In the side of the ramp, level with the floor on the top tier, your intrepid group of new adventurers find a secret door. The slab of stone that hid the secret entrance to the pyramid is now held open by the dead body of a hobgoblin. The body has a large crossbow bolt sunk deep in its chest. The hobgoblin has been dead for several weeks. All right, so I'm going to think and try and act as if I don't know the things that I know. Finian is going to be ecstatic as to get started on his thief career and is going to stop the party and say, "Let me check for traps." Not finding any traps and sticking to the plan, they're going to line up with Dorian, Finian, Galen, and Ulrich. Yeah, it's a single file line. It's a single file area here. There's dead guy. So as they creak the door open, very wary of traps and very wary because they have no hit points to speak of, they notice that there's a crossbow straight in front of them pointed at their faces. However, the crossbow was not loaded. It was triggered apparently by a hidden pressure plate that the dead hobgoblin is now stepped upon. So right there would have been the crossbow. Dorian would let out a strong sigh. That would have been my face, and it would have been a short adventuring life, boys. Let's keep going. They're going to creep slowly around the corner, turn it, notice a door, and they're going to creak the door open slowly. The highest tier of this pyramid is a single 40 square foot room. The room smells old and musty. The dust on the floor has been disturbed, though no special details can be made out. 3 huge bronze cylinders reach from the floor to the ceiling in the middle of the room. In the center of each cylinder, facing you at floor level, is a bronze door. Each door has a bronze handle that can be used to pull the door open. Now the notes tell us that the ceilings inside the hallways are 10 foot and the ceilings inside the rooms are 15 feet. So we have 3 bronze tubes. We have 4 adventurers. I'm going to have just kind of a single file line of adventurers right here. And we have several tubes to open. One quick note here. I have a band of 4 adventurers. This adventure is literally for 6 to 10 adventurers. They didn't mind having a whole bunch of people at the table back in the day. So I'm going to make this significantly easier as far as, you know, attacks and traps. At least half. I mean, I'm at 4, and when it suggests 6 to 10. So there's that. Also, I believe the adventurers would have kept this door open. They're all humans, and this will be dark in here. So they may have even tried to prop it open a little more, which leads me to believe they're going to open this door and prop this door open as well. This door will close automatically once they all come in, but I believe they're going to try to open it because there's no light in here. So they'll put backpacks or whatever else against it, which will work against the gas trap, which is triggered once the door is open. The gas is odorless, tasteless, and it does damage right away. But because they're going to have both doors open, it's going to take no effect, this one. Also, I believe as beginning adventurers, Finian's going to be looking for traps. Finny would say something like, "Hold up, everyone. Let me check these cylinders for any hidden traps before we touch anything. This looks suspicious." Alaric would say, "Good idea, Finian. We don't know what dangers might be lurking here." Dorian? Agreed. Better safe than sorry. Galen? Yes. Yes, let's proceed with caution. We don't want to trigger any ancient defenses so early in our careers. So I'm going to roll a d20, being a level 1 thief, see if he can even discover these traps, which are present in, let me see. I'm going to say he needs a 15 or above to detect any of these traps. Failed. 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 Well, no traps that I can see, he says. Meaning that Dorian is going to step forward. They're going to follow in tow. And he's going to just wing open Trap 1C. Trap 1C in the west wall next to the base of the left statue. 4 darts will fire out of the wall when the door's handle is pulled. The darts can only hit someone standing directly in front of the door. Roll to hit it as if each dart was fired by a 1 HD monster. So let's do that. Dorian is a kind of a 1 HD monster, and he has a armor class of 4, so I need a 14 or above. And the first dart hits. I'm also going to roll dexterity check. Yeah, he definitely jumps away behind the door, away from the door right after that. So he will not take any of those other darts, and everyone else is behind him. But he does take damage. Each dart that hits does 1 to 3 damage. I'll roll a d6, so he takes 2 points of damage. Right off the bat. Sheesh. Good start, guys. Good start. Thunk, 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 thunk. 4 darts fly out. 1 hits Dorian in his chest, and he says, "Ugh! Am I dead? Am I dying? Cleric, heal me!" Alaric's like, "You're not dying, and you don't need healing, and I don't even have a healing spell yet, so you need to survive." As they open that, they realize these are empty tubes with a ladder going down and a ladder going up. The ladder going up looks like it goes into some sort of a mechanism, while the ladder going down goes into a darker but glowing space. For some reason, at the bottom looks like there's a door about 15 feet down, and it's glowing. So for the next 2, they're going to open the door and stand behind the door. When they open the door in 1D, that is right in the middle, nothing happens. They look and they see that there's blood in front of the cylinder, so there was probably some sort of trap done. They do it again on the final trap, and because they're standing to the side, the The stone drops, but they do not. I'm going to give this guy... I'm going to give Dorian like a 10% chance of falling. If he gets a 19 or 20, he fell. 18. I rolled an 18 on a 19 or 20. And guys, I'm not really setting up the online roller. If you want to see me roll the dice, then let me know. I might consider doing that. I usually do online rolling, but I just want to make it nice and easy. All right. So, traps have been sprung. There's a gas trap they're not even aware of that's just seeping right out the doors here. And C is cleared. So is D. But they're going to go up. They're going to notice that these tubes lead to the top that they were just seeing. Into the statues on the top of the pyramid. The 3 statues of the man, the child, and the woman. Although this is not a good interpretation. It looks like... doesn't look like anyone could fit in these. But what the description is, you could fit into these. You can make contraptions and you could speak out the mouth. So the people would believe that you were speaking for the Lord. But that's not what that shows. But you get the drift. They're going to all climb down single file. Okay, so they're all packed into the cylinder, and they're going down, and this says a 10-foot radius circle at the foot of each ladder is lit by a glowing 2-foot-long beetle. I'm going to make it just 1 beetle for now, since the party's smaller, and there's no way to be 1.5 beetles. I'm going to go with 1 beetle for now. Each beetle has 3 glowing spots. These are fire beetles. There's 1 beetle. So as Dorian gets to the bottom, I'm going to roll to see which cylinder that beetle is in. Dorian is in cylinder 1. So let's see. I rolled a 2. So Dorian flings the door open and sees the beetle and is like, "Huzzah! Guys, giant bug!" And we're in combat, guys. And just like that, we're in combat. So I got a beetle right here. The boys are pouring out. They pour into the room, and now we're going to do these order of events. We're going to check for... I'm going to try to stay as true to 91 D&D as I can, but there are some things I'm just going to change. But we're on step 5. We're going to see if the either one is surprise. So surprise is... Okay, so whoever gets higher on that, the party got higher. Now... No. Neither one of them got 1 or 2, so no one is surprised. Now we're going to do initiative. And, okay, the party gets higher there, so they have the initiative. Okay, and this fire beetle has an armor class of 4, so Dorian's going to run up with the sword, and he's going to attack. That's the wrong dice. He needs a 14, or he needs a 15 or above. He misses. Ulrich's going to run up with his mace. And swing, and he misses. This is going great, guys. This is going really, really good. Okay, so Fidion's going to try to sneak around behind this beetle. According to our rules, if you're striking unnoticed from behind, you get a +4 to hit, and you inflict twice the normal damage. Let's see. That is a miss. The wizard's going to stay back a little bit, and he's going to try for a sling attack. Nice, he hits, but that's a sling, probably a D4. 1d4. He does 4 damage. All right, you go, buddy. He's only got 6 hit points, but now it's the fire beetle's turn, and it is going to skitter forward towards, let's see, 50-50 at Dorian or Ulrich. Dorian is 10 and below. Ulrich's above 10. It goes to Dorian, of course. Going to kill my fighter off the bat, so that's super fantastic. And it is going to attack. It does 2d8 damage, and it will definitely kill my guy if he pinches him. Right here, he can go 40 feet, and he is a hit dice 1, so let's roll. And he hits. Oh, boy. Dorian, it's been nice to know you. Gonna roll d8. 2! Dorian's got 1 hit point left. The pinchers pinch Dorian. He's got 1 hit point left. He attacks. He rolls a 16. Is that right for a 4? Yep. He hits. And a sword's going to do 1d6, I'm sure. He does 2, and he kills the little goober. fight over. Our fighter's already down to 1 hit point. I did forget that I had torches, but I didn't want to use those yet. They just started. So now they're in the 2nd floor. They do have light coming out of this dead beetle. But yeah, they're not going to try to use that torch. But there's no healing potions. This isn't your Gen Zers D&D, baby. This is old-fashioned D&D where you can fall in love with your guy and he dies in 5 minutes, which is about to happen to Dorian Grimward. He's almost dead. He's on death's door. There's no battle medicine or healing potions. But they do notice there's a light coming out of the fire beetle, and they are dying of thirst, and they're hungry, so they're going to ransack the room. They're also going to try to cut that light out of the beetle, which that just makes sense. And as we're told here, there's a gland, 3 glands that glow that give off light for a 10-foot radius. These glands continue to glow for 1d6 days. So if they get into a darker spot, they might use their torches, but for now they're going to use the glands. That's lovely. They've found that the room holds spare parts for the machinery inside the statues. There are also several large covered clay pots. They open the pots and find oil that lubricates the machinery. Do they have anything to put the oil in? These are big, large pots. Do we have a water skin, which is empty? They're not going to put oil in their water skins. I don't care how. They're just not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Does anybody have anything to hold stuff? A large sack. That's not going to be. It's not going to hold oil there, Galen. Sorry. So even though they would like to probably take some of this oil, they're just going to note that there's oil here in this room, and they'll come back for it if they have to. Moving on. You're going to now switch places. Alaric's going to go forward, go in front. They've got 3 doors. They're going to. Let's just go to the east. Let's just that's what we're picking. So Alaric picks east, opens the doors, sees a corridor. A door on the south, a door on the north. Again, these are 10 feet tall, where the ceilings are 15 in the rooms. Let's check out the slowly check out the door to the south. They're very worried for their friend Dorian, who's on death's door. They creak the door open, look inside, and this room might have once been the quarters of a cleric, but it looks like it has been abandoned for a long time. It contains a musky, dust-covered furniture, a sleeping pallet, a writing desk with a wooden stool, a chest, and a wooden holy symbol that looks like a balance. They would have searched the room, try to find anything valuable, try to find any water. They're going on 2 days of no water, and it's getting bad, but they're going to keep moving on. Alaric says, "Let's check this door to the north." This room contains an old bed, a writing table, a chair, a chest. From the looks of the furniture, the quarters have been long abandoned, but from behind the bed comes scuffling sounds. Suddenly, you see the head of a very large, pale, blue lizard with orange spots. They take a step back. Alaric is thinking about doing something. It's a large lizard it's never seen before, and just as it does, from the ceiling drops another second large gecko. Alaric screams, "Nope!" pulls the door closed, and decides that it's time to move on. Since geckos don't have thumbs, that door is stuck. So we have geckos in here. We have an empty room. We're going to turn south and move on to this room here, the first door on the right. This room contains 3 double bunk beds. 5 men are seated on the lower bunks talking. Each man wears iron chainmail over a blue tunic. All wear steel helmets, and each man's face is covered by a golden mask. All their masks are the same. They show a long-haired, bearded man with a stern gaze. This is the same old man face on top of the statue. So we're going to roll 2d6 to see what their disposition is when they see these guys. So I rolled a 8, so it means that these guys are going to look. They look at the party in room 11 as they open the door, and they go, "Hello, gents. Looks like some very meaty warriors, fighters, adventurers, and such." We are the Brotherhood of Gorm. How art thou? Ulrich would reply, we were lost due to a sandstorm in the desert, of which the Brotherhood would look and go, the desert. I remember that out there. They're a little bit weird. They're a little bit wild, but they also look lawful. And so a conversation would begin. And I believe because Dorian is in such bad of a state, and because the Brotherhood is trying to find members, that they would come to the conclusion that they will let our adventurers join the Brotherhood of Gorm, and our adventurers definitely will take that offer. Dorian will be able to become a full member because he is a fighter, but everyone else will just be able to become junior members, I guess. They have food and water, which they would share. So it's at this point that the Brotherhood of Gorm guys would have explained to my party of the factions that are currently in the pyramid, the 3 factions, the Brotherhood, the Magi, and the Warrior Women. And those are the 3 factions that are represented on top of the pyramid, as well as how the city was destroyed because some diggers in this pyramid dug down too far and discovered Zargon. Let me get a picture of Zargon. Yeah, there's Zargon, and this evil entity rose and began killing people in the streets, and people began worshiping them, and everyone kind of just began to worship them and left the gods, and this needs to be rectified, and they need people, and our party is desperate enough and in such a bad situation that they agree, and so they will join the Brotherhood of Gorm, the first faction to ask them to join, and out of their desperate need, they do so. After a brief time of sharing some water and food, the Brotherhood would say, if you want to join as appears you do, follow us. They are wanting to lead the party to room 12. The room has 3 double bunk beds along the walls. 6 men stand around the room talking. All wear chainmail armor over blue tunics. Each man also wears a steel helmet and a golden mask. It's now time to meet the Grand Master of the Brotherhood of Gorm.